Hello everyone, welcome back to ErikaBuilds and another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are in the world of Sulani working on a reproduction of a picture of a house that I found on Instagram that I'm calling the Florida house because to me that's just what this house looked like. And here I'll show you the picture now. This is a website that I've been using a lot lately. In fact, I think my last five or six houses have been from homes on this website. I will link it in the description of this video in case you are a builder and you're looking for some houses to work on. So yeah, this house really appealed to me. I haven't done anything like this. I actually haven't done very many Sulani builds at all, which is so odd because I remember when they announced the pack, I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to build so many cute beach houses. And I think I've only built maybe 3. I don't know. I don't know. I love Sulani. It's gorgeous. But for some reason, I'm always building in other worlds. So I thought that Sulani would be a good location for this Florida type house since it would have a lot of palm trees and, you know, the tropical sort of vibe. I will apologize that I haven't put a video up in the last 10 days, but I have been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, and it's so funny because I got the game right when it came out, and the first month or so, I was pretty laid back, you know. I mean, I was playing it, but not like obsessed with it. Well, over the last few weeks, it's just gotten more and more and more. And now I play it nonstop. It's a serious problem. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And as you can see, it's really cutting into my time on The Sims. So I apologize for that. I think when we get the new pack in a couple of weeks, that'll probably help get me more excited to do some Sims builds. But right now, my island is definitely taking all of my time. I've been stuck at a 4-star for a while because I'm taking a lot of time to go through and build everything and design everything just in a very particular way. Who's surprised? Probably nobody. And my house, I've redesigned it like a gajillion times. So eventually, once I get my house and my island all situated the way I want it, I'm sure I won't be playing quite as often. But as of right now, it's just kind of taken over my life that I want to get, you know, up to the 5-star rating. And I finally got the last villager that I wanted because my original like 5 villagers I did not like, and I took forever to get them to leave. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Animal Crossing this whole time. Boy, I'm sure the Sims would really appreciate that. But anyway, back to this build. This house is kind of unusual. I mean, it's very, I would say, typical in the kind of the main part of the house, but then it had this sort of like bonus room over the garage that I think in the real house it said it was an art studio, but I ended up making it a bedroom just because this house didn't really have that many bedrooms, and so I just felt like that was a better use of the space. But I can definitely see the appeal of this being an art studio because you've got a lot of really gorgeous views from up here. You can see the ocean. I'm sure it'd be very inspirational for any artist to work on their, you know, painting or whatever they do from that vantage point. But yeah, so I did actually use it as a bedroom. Speaking of bedrooms, this house has a total of 3 bedrooms, and then it also has an office, which could be a 4th bedroom if you needed it to be. And then it also has a bonus room, but the bonus room would not be a good bedroom because it has an overlook down into the living room area where it's all open air. So probably wouldn't be a very good place for a bedroom. So I made it a game room. There's like a, what's that new game we got in Discovery University? It's like beer pong, but it's not. What is it? Juice pong or something? I can't remember what it's called, but I think it might be juice pong. So I put one of those tables and a bar and a jukebox and a dance floor and a gaming table because I was kind of picturing this house as like maybe it would be a really good Airbnb, where people could come here and just live temporarily. And so there would be like a lot of entertainment in the house. So yeah, I was definitely inspired by that idea when I was deciding what to do with that bonus area. But if you didn't want it to be a game room, you could make it just like a little sitting room or reading room, or some type of hobby, like if you needed an art studio or I don't know, something, flower arranging or something. Really, it could be transformed into pretty much any type of hobby room that your Sims family might need. Here you can see I'm just working on the rest of the exterior. This house plan actually had photos of the front and the back and both sides, which was super helpful. It's kind of a double-edged sword because when I only get pictures of the front and I have no idea what the rest of the house looks like, I have to be more creative to come up with like what would match the front. But on the other side of things, when I have a picture of all the four sides of the house, then it's just more work trying to recreate those four sides and make them look like the photo. And you might have seen the garage that I put on the side. That's actually a golf cart garage, which I thought was a really cute idea and very Florida. Short story time, but my mother a few years ago wanted to move to Florida. She just got it in her mind that she was ready to go south. She wanted to go live in Florida. A lot of her neighbors and friends her age and, in their 60s and stuff had moved to Florida. And so I went with her to tour all of these like over 55 communities, which are so nice, by the way. Oh my gosh, I wish I was over 55 so I could live in one of these amazing places. But so these communities, all the houses are just adorable and very bright colors and everything. And of course, they're all in these beautiful complexes that have all these pools and community centers and stuff. So we went through places like the Villages and all these different places around Orlando and even on the coast. We probably took about 3 trips down there looking at houses. So I kind of feel like an expert when it comes to these over 55 communities. And so the funny part is she decided in the end not to move to Florida. I think as she was getting closer and closer to actually biting the bullet, she just decided that she wanted to stay home. She lives in Kentucky and she really likes it down there. And I think it was kind of one of those times in your life where you're going to decide if you're going to stay where you are or you're going to move to Florida, which I feel like probably inevitably that will happen to me when I'm her age. But yeah, so she decided in the end to stay at home and not move. But boy, we really took a lot of tours and saw a lot of houses. And so I was definitely thinking about that as I was building this. And I was trying to bring in sort of like elements of Florida, but also Sulani, because I kind of feel like you can't really build a house in Sulani and just totally ignore Sulani culture and where you are, because I feel like the culture and the things that came with the Island Living pack are very much a part of the world. And so I did try to incorporate some Island Living things in the interior and in the landscaping, just so the house would kind of be the best of both. So it's got a lot of touches of Florida, and then it's got a lot of Sulani in it. So here we had a bit of a time skip because I stopped recording because I was doing the work in progress screenshots for Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I recommend that you go check it out, because I always post work in progress pictures when I do these recreations. And I think it's kind of fun to do like a side by side comparison of the real house and the Sims house. Now I have to say, a lot of times I know the houses don't really look completely similar. And I get a lot of comments from people saying, that doesn't look like it. And I know it's never going to be exactly the same, but it's fun to just sort of try to get it as close as you can using, like you guys know, I don't use CC. And so I always am stuck, just using whatever we have in the game. So inevitably, there's going to be types of windows or types of exterior stones and different kinds of oh my gosh, my number one wish is that we had cedar shingles, which we still don't have. I know it's okay, and I really should just give up on cedar shingles, but I really want them so bad. So yeah, there's always like certain things, that we can't reproduce without CC. So it's still, I think, kind of fun to see the side-by-side comparison, because you can kind of look and see like, oh yeah, these windows are not really the same, but I can see, that this was kind of as close as we could get. Or like the different kinds of siding color is not going to be the same. And certain types of roof angles, or like walls that might be rounded or something. There's always going to be something that we can't match completely. But I still think it's fun to give it a try and see how close that you can get it. There were also a few pictures on the architectural site that showed the inside of the house. And it was so cute. What I wouldn't give to be able to reproduce how adorable that house was on the inside. But it just had a lot of really nice, like bright white couches, like overstuffed bright white couches, and like these sort of seashore, different colors of chairs and stuff. I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but it was gorgeous inside. And it's always a little bit sad because you're like, I wish we had all of that in the game. But it definitely gave inspiration as far as colors and themes and kind of the feel. And so, like I said before, I used a mixture of Sulani kind of with a few different other packs. So the kitchen counters and bar are from Island Living, but the bar stools are from the bowling pack. But they matched the tile backsplash in the kitchen perfectly. So that was kind of why I picked those. And then a lot of the window treatments in the house are from Sulani. The dining room set is as well. And so is the master. So yeah, lots of Sulani furniture, or I guess I should say Island Living furniture is used in this build. And I think mostly, I just feel like it definitely brings that tropical feel. And even though, this isn't Florida, it's kind of the same thing. I would say, the main difference is that the Island Living furniture and decor is more kind of a rustic Polynesian, sort of like what you would expect to see in Hawaii. Whereas Florida homes are a little bit different. They're kind of a mixture between that and like New England. And so it kind of has its own style. which is very hard to reproduce. And so maybe that would be a good idea for a future pack, some kind of pack based on Florida. I don't know, probably no one would like that but me, but I love Florida. I go there all the time. So I think it would be fun if we had kind of some, I guess I'm thinking of like, you know, they do a lot of things with shells. Like you'll have all these different like shell and seaside sort of themed decor and furnitures and fabrics and stuff and pillows, and I don't know, it would be kind of fun to play around with if we had something like that. But since we didn't, I just went with mostly Sulani stuff. So as you see here, I'm now working on the living room. This is all Sulani furniture. And I didn't, like I said before, I didn't want to go really over the top with the Polynesian feel, but I definitely wanted to keep it tropical. So I tried not to use a lot of the really busy, bold island living swatches. I tried to keep it a little bit more subdued, just to kind of go more with the Florida theme. So I made a little L-shaped couch here, just pushing two couches together and with some coordinating side chairs and tables. And then I thought about doing a real fireplace, but then I decided to just use this faux fireplace because I was kind of thinking, you know, in Sulani, you probably don't really need to build fires. It probably doesn't really ever get cold. But maybe they just like the look of having a fireplace. So that was kind of my inspiration for that. And I never used that piece, so it was kind of fun to place it and then think about how to decorate it and like, you know, what do you do with a fake fireplace? I'm like, okay, well, probably flowers, plants. And then I remembered that we had those logs that are like candles. And then I took this little iron wall decor piece and stuck it inside the little slot there to kind of make it look a little bit like a chimney grate. Yeah, and so over in that little other kind of bump out there of a living room, I put a bookcase and a bar. There's actually two bars in this house. There's one on the first floor and one on the second floor. Like I said before, you know, I was kind of thinking about vacationing and Airbnb and like making this house like appeal to for people would want to come there and, you know, stay there for vacation or live there. I mean, of course, this is not rental property. So, but that was just kind of my thought process. You kind of can see there in the top left also that this house does have a garage. I think I mentioned in my last video, or no, maybe it was 2 videos back, that I know you guys are very passionate about garages. Some people really feel like when you're dealing with a realistic house that you've got to have the garage. And then some people don't mind too much if I take the garage and turn it into something else, like a laundry room. So this house, if you like garages, you'll be happy because I went with like more of a realistic garage. Of course, as you know, we do not have working cars and we do not have garage doors that go up and down. So it's just pretend. But yeah, it definitely gives the house a very realistic sort of feel. And over here is where I was telling you about the bar and the bookcase. These 2 plants that I'm placing, that large one in the corner and then this tall skinny one I'm getting ready to put next to the bookcase, I'm so sad that they don't work. They're always really, really dark and cast in shadow. I feel like nothing you can do with the lighting or the placement makes it better. I wish there was a way to fix it because I would really use these 2 plants way more often if they weren't so dark. The shadow that is cast on those 2 in particular. Also, there's a couple that are from Jungle Adventure that do the same thing. I don't know what causes that to happen, but it really bugs me. So I don't know. I wish there would be a way that they could fix it. Oh, another time jump. You saw, I just cut out the footage of me doing the entryway because it wasn't like really super interesting. Basically, it was a bench and a mirror and an entry table and just, you know, thermostat, umbrellas, coats, all that kind of stuff. definitely I kept all of this main living area of the entry, kitchen, dining room, and living room, since they were all open. They're all in the same sort of aquamarine, seafoam green. I don't know. I never know exactly what color to say, but they're all in this kind of same color. And I did that on purpose, just because I feel like it gives really nice continuity to this very open floor plan. But then I very intentionally did not use this color in any of the 3 bedrooms because I didn't want it to be complete overkill, because so much of the living space is all the same color. I think it's kind of something you have to be careful with, because I think it's very aesthetically pleasing to have a lot of matching rooms and matching, especially in open floor plans. I think it looks nice. But then sometimes if you do too much, then it's like, okay, this is overkill, on the turquoise or the aquamarine or whatever you want to call it. So I think it was when I was doing this office that I was like, okay, this is the end. I'm not using this color again in the rest of the house. But yeah, I kind of got on a little bit of a kick using this color. In this office, I used mostly base game. This chair and bookcase and desk are all base game. And I'm just mixing in a lot of decor that's just, I don't know, very, there's books and plants, lots of plants, I feel like, in this house, probably a little bit more than I usually use. And then I put an easel in here, and I ended up going over to the gallery to find some paintings. So I chose these 2 that you're seeing now, because I just felt like it looked like they had painted a sunset from just right off of their back porch. I was really inspired by those. And I get a lot of my gallery paintings. I can't think of the name right now. I'm going to put it in the description. If I forget, yell at me. I want to give them a shout out for all the paintings that they put in the gallery are just amazing, and I use them all the time. Over here in this corner, I did end up using a real fireplace in here because I just felt like it was kind of cozy for the whole office feel. But then I pulled out this kind of like bubblegum pink chair and footstool, because I'm trying to remember Florida House. And when I think of that, I always think of these very just like over the top pastel colors. I'll tell you, some of the houses my mom and I went through, I was just like blown away by the amount of florals, lots and lots of florals, like think like circa early 80s, and lots of this bright pink and coral. And yeah, boy, we really saw a lot of crazy colors and a lot of crazy furniture and decor in some of these houses. It was really a trip. But yeah, so I was kind of thinking of that in the back of my mind as I was pulling stuff out for this office. And then I put a little bit of a tile kind of footer here at the fireplace because I don't usually like to set a fireplace on a hardwood floor because I just feel like it looks like a fire hazard, which of course it's not, but just somewhere in my brain I feel like it is. Then the lamp is from... the overhead, I think both of these are from Tiny Living, right? Aren't they? I think so. The overhead light and the floor lamp, I think, are from Tiny Living. Love those lights. That's probably my favorite part of that pack. Yeah, so just finishing up the office, you can kind of get a little bit of a look of the garage there too. I didn't keep the footage in because it wasn't really very exciting. Mainly, it's just 2 cars that I pulled out of the debug catalog. And then there's a woodworking table, and then a little bit of a laundry area with a washer and dryer. And then I pulled out some like kind of like beachy decor. There's that I don't know what it is. It's like a rack of like scuba diving equipment I put in there, and a life, or what are those things, like a what do you call it? Like the guy throws it in the water to rescue people. I don't know. I can't think of words right now. But yeah, I put like some beachy type decor in the garage to kind of tie that together. And then this is the master bedroom, where my own personal influence started to kind of bleed into this house. And I've talked about this many times before in other videos, but I love black. I love it. And I love dark colors. I think black and red are definitely my two favorite colors. And so when I started working on this master, I was like, I really want to use that gray palm leaf wallpaper I've used in a lot of other beach houses and tropical type builds that I've done. And then of course I immediately thought of using black just because it looks so nice with the gray and white. And so yeah, this bedroom is definitely a different vibe than the rest of the house. I feel like this is the Erika room. It has all the colors and the designs that I like. But yeah, it was fun to decorate, and it's kind of interesting to see how the Sims team came up with this particular swatch with this very dark sort of like teak wood and wicker furniture mixed with the black and white bedding. I really, really like it. And sometimes their swatches are a little questionable, and I think, who was coming up with this idea for this combination? But this one, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite things that came from Island Living. So if you decide to play in this house, you can think of me when you come into this bedroom and know that this is just exactly what I would have if I was building my own beach house. And same with the bathroom. I kept it very sort of modern with a lot more of this dark wood and black combination, again, from Island Living. So yeah, that was definitely fun to work on. Who knows, someday if I win the lottery and I can retire and move to Fiji or something, I can have this gorgeous island style house with this beautiful black and dark wood. That would be great. But yeah, just kind of living vicariously through my builds as usual. And I decided to go with stone or brick sort of wallpaper in here to make it look a little more earthy. I think that really looks nice with the open shower. And the towels and mirrors and all the coordinating decor in here are all also in black. So yeah, definitely kind of a cool modern touch to kind of the rest of the house being so bright, and with all the bright colors and cool tones, this is kind of a little bit more subdued in here. And then let's see, so that pretty much finishes up the main part of the house and the bathroom. And then next up are the kids' rooms, and I decided to do 2 kids' rooms, and I didn't really have a firm idea in my mind if these were children or teenagers until the end of the build. I started thinking that this house kind of seemed more maybe like these kids might be teens. I don't really think it matters, other than the fact that it does have like a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of bars and beer pong and jukeboxes and dance floors and stuff that I think teens would really appreciate. So I think that's why I was thinking maybe teens. But when I actually got into doing the decor, this room I feel like kind of has more of a vibe of a teen, whereas the other child's bedroom upstairs is definitely for a child. But this one really could go either way. And I decided to go with peach in here, which is always kind of challenging to work on in The Sims because we don't have a lot of peach stuff. There's some in Parenthood, and that rug I thought looked pretty nice. That's from Discovery University. And then the furniture is all, I mean, as far as like the bed and the nightstand and the dresser, those are all from Seasons. Yeah, and there is a peach lamp from Seasons that matched for the bedside. So everything's coming together pretty well. And then I tried to remember, sometimes it's like I can remember a certain piece of furniture that I want to use, but my mind just goes blank and I can't find it. So it took me a minute to find the matching desk and chair in peach that I wanted to use in this room. Because we don't really, like I said before, we don't really have a lot in this particular shade. And it can be really hard to match. I think it's one of those colors because it has a little bit of orange and pink sort of together. And I think that's kind of one of those colors where it doesn't match orange and it doesn't match pink. So really it only matches peach. So sometimes with pinks, you know, you can get away with mixing a lot of different shades of like bright pink and light pink and it all will look fine. Not so much with this one, so I had to be a little bit more careful to make sure that the colors were all okay. And this little small desk is from Parenthood, and then I just put a laptop there. And then I gave this kid a guitar. I gave the parents a guitar too. I don't know why, I always think of guitars when I'm in Sulani, because it's like just picturing sitting outside in the sand, watching the waves rolling in and like strumming your guitar. It just sounds like a really nice activity for your sim to have if they were living here. There I was adjusting the lights because boy, let me tell you, peach does not look good under those yellow default lighting settings. So I had to go in and put those to bright white so it would look a little better. Then for this kid's bathroom, I did go with pink in here because I don't believe we have any peach tiles. But I think it's fine because it's a separate room. And there is some pink in the wallpaper in the bedroom with the hearts. So it still coordinates, I think, okay. And this is all from Parenthood, pink and gray. And there's a tub and shower combo in here. And yeah, just kind of their own little private bathroom. Again, kind of thinking of a teen. And it's kind of nice if they're here sort of away from everyone else and close to the kitchen, and there's a side entrance. So yeah, the teen's probably really liking that. Okay, then upstairs is this big room. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I was saying that in the real house, this room was an art studio, which I think would be really nice if you wanted to use it as that. But of course I needed some bedrooms for Sims. So I decided to go with this spring green up here. It's a color I haven't used a lot of lately. I feel like when I go into doing kids' rooms, I forget about green sometimes. And so I kind of discovered that I really, really like this Discover University bed and nightstand mixed with this dresser from Get Famous. It's the same sort of pale light brown wood, and the drawer fronts are white, which I hadn't really thought of before, but it matches really nicely. And I think it looks better than the dresser that came with Discover University because it's more sort of like institutional looking. It looks more like a dorm, whereas I feel like this Get Famous dresser looks more, you know, like it's made for a house. And so this kid has lots and lots of room up here, so they got really nice stuff. They got the big full-size Victorian dollhouse. They got the nice arts and crafts table. I chose the one from My First Pet Stuff just because I really like that shade of green. And there's a toy box up here and lots of toys. And I think any kid would be very, very happy to have this room and all of the space to play. And it also has its own bathroom up here. The only thing that's kind of a bit odd is there is a balcony, which probably you're not really thinking of putting your kid in a room with a balcony. But in The Sims, it's fine. They're not going to fall or jump off the balcony. So it's safe. And they've got some stuffed animals. And then here in the bathroom, I just did Parenthood again, this time keeping it a little more juvenile with these pastel elephants, and the tile definitely has that same shade of green that is in the bedroom. So I felt like that matched really nicely. This room actually would be really nice for a toddler. You would just have to switch out the bed to a toddler bed, and then you would need to put a potty seat here in the bathroom, because I did not include any toddler stuff. Yeah, so let's see. I think that's about. Oh, and then the bonus room. I didn't really. I kind of started working on this bonus room and then kind of had like just a failure to be able to think of any ideas, and so I stopped and I went back to it the next day and I did not record it. So you're not going to actually see the process of me working in this bonus room. But you will see some pictures of it in the screenshots. And of course, if you decide to download this house, you can look at it more closely. But I had some trouble coming up with a color scheme up here that would match without being too over the top. It took some tweaking, but I think I finally found one that I liked. But anyway, I hope that you guys like this house. It is available in the gallery if you would like to download it. And if you like this build, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned to more builds coming soon. As soon as I can get my Animal Crossing addiction under control, I'm sure I will be back with lots more speed builds. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.